I'd like to call to order the meeting of the City of Monona Landmarks Commission for Tuesday, August 27th. Do you have the roll call there? Got everybody here. And do I have a motion to approve the minutes of our last meeting, July 16th? I so move. Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any changes, corrections that need to be made for the record? Hearing none, all in favor of adopting the minutes that we see in our packet, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Wonderful. We don't have any appearances. Is there anyone on recording? Okay. Unfinished business number 5A, discussion and possible action on amendment to chapter 18-8 of the Monona Municipal Code of Ordinance regarding the Landmarks Commission's structure to allow for a citizen chair. Okay, there was some email discussion between our last meeting and tonight. Did you want to
Sure, yeah. So
summarize
this-
that?
This is
Okay,
on the agenda again. I
Yeah,
apologize
yeah.
for that, but it's because when the commission approved it last, you approved it with additional language that the mayor appointed the chair at the recommendation of the commission. And the city attorney was really uncomfortable adding that language and taking the power to make the appointment away from the mayor and giving that to the commission instead. And he strongly advised that we don't include language like that. And, you know, it's just the mayor in good practice will consider our recommendation, but there's no need to make it legally binding recommendation.
I think that's understandable, but other communities do it. Milwaukee does it. That's a bigger community than us.
It's in the ordinance.
Yeah.
So our language made it,
No older person.
I thought it was just a recommendation.
We were,
it was-
we were just giving it. That's weird.
So if.
She doesn't need the,
apparently there was
Essentially-
a misunderstanding. Anyway, there may have been a
Yeah,
misunderstanding.
I think the city attorney's, you know, being very conservative about it, and playing it safe, as he tends to do and as we pay him to do. Is, you know, if it's just a non-binding recommendation, there's no need to include it in the ordinance. Right, we can just make that recommendation to the mayor,
okay,
and, you know, the way that it was worded,
but the
there'd
word
be a
is.
chance that it could be interpreted as taking power from the mayor, so. So unfortunately, here it is again, for consideration.
I think at the end of the day, we all get what we want. It's
Yeah.
just sort of.
I would go with what the attorney says.
Yeah.
It's hard to envision a situation where the mayor goes, you know, appoint someone who the
Right.
commission doesn't
I
want, yeah.
Yeah.
So we are looking for a motion to approve the draft language as presented in the packet.
Why don't we go ahead and read it for those who might be listening to the recording? Shall I, or would you like to?
The whole thing or
Just
just
the red?
Red,
I'll read the red part. So in the Landmarks Commission Code of Ordinance 18-8, composition, commission shall consist of 1 common council member and 6 citizens, all of whom may vote. The mayor and city administrator or their designees shall be ex officio non-voting members of the commission. The mayor shall designate the chairperson annually, who shall hold office for 1 year and until his or her successor is appointed and qualifies. The term of office of the chairperson, except when appointed to fill a vacancy, shall commence on the third Thursday of April, blah, 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 at the discretion of the mayor. Okay. So that is half of that was added. I mean, it was a very short ordinance to begin with, which was basically just the mayor, the alderperson who's by default the chair. And now that is no longer the case, and the mayor gets to designate anybody. And we will make a recommendation as to who that may. So. So, do we have a motion to approve the edited ordinance language?
I'll move to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any additional discussion?
Yeah, I have a question that
Sure.
isn't really, well, it's sort of related, I guess. 6 citizens,
I know.
is there a minimum number of citizens that can be part of this? It doesn't look like it appears to say anything about less than 6,
It does not.
so. Could there be 1? I mean. That's not what we're talking about today, I realize that, but I'm
Correct.
just curious now.
Correct.
Also wrote that.
Okay, so maybe we can find that out. Maybe
And
Thor
that-
can look into that or
and
something,
that-
I'm just curious.
Yeah,
But I will add the comment that I voted no last time, and I will vote no this time, because I think this isn't a commission issue, I think it's a council issue. It should be the same for all commissions.
Got it.
okay, hold on, so let me just understand the rationale behind your no vote. It's not that you disagree with this,
Correct.
but rather you're sending a message to the
No, I'm just
council.
voting no, because I
you
think it should
Do
be,
agree with
I think the plan
this.
commission should, but I think it should come from the council and be equal to all commissions.
The citizen designee, that is.
Yeah, like a federal law should mandate throughout the states. States can have their separate laws, but if it's federally, I think this should be a federally.
Could I?
Yes, a mayoral.
Yeah. I respect that. Could I ask you to consider a compromise?
Well, it doesn't matter if I vote
This
no.
is about.
So it's just because you're all gonna vote yes, like the last time, I assume. So it really doesn't matter.
It
And I
is
don't-
powerful to say that it passed unanimously out of committee. It is a powerful statement for the council.
We keep
But you are
things
free to
smaller.
vote your conscience. You are free to vote absolutely your conscience. I just, I was thinking perhaps two-stepping it, let the Landmarks Commission lead by example, and that would open the door for others to follow rather than wanting everyone to follow, wanting everyone to move at the same pace. But, okay. So, all in favor of adopting the language for the new ordinance, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Me,
Motion carries, and we will take this to council. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate your thoughtfulness.
but I do support the concept.
I'll make a note in the memo to council, exactly that, you voted no, you can believe that it, yeah. And I think it should spur a good discussion at council. It'll likely be on the agenda for first read at the second meeting in September. And passed probably in October.
Right.
All right. Number 5B, discussion on 2025 Historic Preservation Month planning, AKA the walking tour. So many wonderful things to say about this.
Well.
I love it. We did a lot of work between our last meetings.
A little, okay, so I did. Jen from the Historic Trust reached back out to me after we met with Vicky. And I met with her and Erica Gilbert. Foxville.
From Bungalow.
Whose mother lives in Monona, she grew up in Monona, and she also was a original board member of the trust, I believe. Anyway. We met to discuss a walking tour and the Madison Trust helping us do it. Rather than Vicky was not on the same page at the time she came here. And it didn't seem clear if they were helping us or not, so they are interested in helping us. And they would help in. Erica would help write the tour. With the help of a subcommittee from us, there's not many of us, so. So Erica would outline it and help write the tour, and that would take place between September and December. To be ready to start a subcommittee in January. The subcommittee would then. Put together like. The plan, basically, how it's all gonna work out. And like reviewing the tour itself, and then. the Madison Trust would format the tour. So they already have like a template that they can format it for us. And then the manual / brochure, whatever it's gonna be, should be ready in March. And then we should also promote it 3 months in advance of the tour itself. They recommend doing their docents since they are already trained in how to do them, but if we can reach out to any Monona people that might be interested in becoming a docent. I can think of like 1 or 2 people that might be interested. And then another thing would be to try to find local business partners to help sponsor. Or just be a sponsor.
Mhm.
Whatever. If they were to help us do this, they recommend doing it on May 24th because their tours start up after their award ceremony, which is held, I think, on like the week before the 24th.
Fourth is a Saturday, or
I believe it's a Saturday.
that's Memorial Day too, is it past that?
That one might be Memorial Day weekend, yes, we talked about that. But the 17th might be too close to their award ceremony if they were to help us, so, and the 30th might be. I guess the 30th is, or the 31st, I can't remember what they do. That might be too late. So I don't know if the 24th works, I don't remember the date, we had agreed on before, if we agreed on a date, I couldn't find it at the minutes. Okay, so then, after that, Eric and I put together, well, I kind of put together a little walking tour map, and Eric and I walked it last week, 2 weeks ago.
Mhm. Yeah.
We walked it 2 weeks ago and realized what we had put together was way too long. It was 3.5 miles.
Too many sites.
And so
5K.
I'm just gonna read you what she sent me an email today, with some follow-up suggestions. She didn't, so 1, it was too long, and for the length, not enough architectural rewards for it, it's more of a social history tour, which isn't impossible, she said, she would just need dialogue to fill in. So her suggestions would be, the Madison Trust could help support like a trolley tour or a bus tour with a few walking stops, and that way we can include more like mounds, Frostwoods, Frank Alice House, because we're pretty spread out. An alternate could be Landmarks could develop a self-guided tour, like a bike tour, the same route, similar route. And then a second alternate would be, or third alternate would be, the Madison Landmarks could do our own tour in 2024, and Madison Trust could come back the following year and help us with a Frostwoods tour after we get nominated. Potentially as a district. So we're gonna set up another meeting to talk about it. What we noticed on the walking tour, aside from the distance, is, you know, we have a lot of social history, like Tony about the Springs Hotel, you know, and there's sites that are on that. And then like there's the Schrader House is probably the only architectural piece that's really, you know, good to show up. The others, like the farmhouses, aren't really spectacular. They're not even, or, you know, farmhouse looking anymore, as you know, you can see them, they're still there a little bit, but you know, they've been altered. We're not showing off any of our Native American heritage, like the mounds that we have. So thoughts on that, I don't know, I think that if we did like a bus walking tour, that might be possible, if like we could do like a trolley type of.
Yeah.
Would like to renting a trolley?
Yeah.
Does the trust have experience with trolley tours?
I think she said she did. Their Green Bush tour that is new this year is like, it's going to be similar to that because it's more spread out. But that's a brand new tour for them. Yeah. It was a very long walk. And walking back from Frost, like you wouldn't be able to even get into Frostwoods. Once we hit Bungalowen, we were like exhausted, right? And so walking all the way back to like Schluter Beach area was just kind of horrendous. So those are thoughts. They're still willing to help us and maybe we can come up with a different route or whatever, but are there thoughts on maybe what we would want to showcase, I guess, that might help with a different route? The route I did was basically I did Winnequa.
I use that one over there.
We started
All
at
our
Ernie's.
landmarks.
We started at Ernie's, yeah. Okay, yeah. So we started at Ernie's.
Right here. And then we walk to Twenty Springs areas here, where that's Ann's cottage is here, Lambeau Cottage. And then we walked up, I think we walked up Tony Trail, cause there's a couple farmhouses.
So on the map that's on the recording then, so you started at,
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
started at 3 or? you-
Yeah,
We
Bernie
sta-
Street.
yeah, we started at 3, and then we hit 20, and then we hit
Fix house.
yeah, somehow the map I went
Sure.
20, I think 765 or 27,865 came back down.
That seems like a nice cluster.
So there's a good cluster here. It's just, there's not a lot of meat there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we cut across to the other farm. That is 9 Schluter Farm.
Oh, and
So
that's
there's
where-
not
that's where-
anything here,
that's where I
right?
think I saw you guys by the
Yeah.
library there,
Yeah, and so there's not much walking or, not much to
No.
view the community center, that kind of, the library. And then Bungalowen's way down here. So
Yeah.
there, and then walking all the way back, there's nothing.
Right. Yeah, so if people were to park their cars and then they would have to like have that long walk of nothing.
Yeah.
The trolley would be really cool.
Is there a thought to avoid Frostwoods because we might showcase that at
I
another
would
time after
later.
the district?
I would think that, and I know that Erica can write a really good Frostwood history, since she grew up there, her mother started Landmarks and grew up here as well, her dad's,
Yeah,
Jan's dad started Winona. So I feel like that would be a really good one. We could showcase it this year and say we're nominating it, I don't know. Whatever my sides are.
I like your idea of just holding off and waiting until it is a little further along in that process. And then celebrate it,
Yeah.
I mean, this is our first one.
Yeah.
So should we take maybe a little baby steps here and
Mm.
like pick 4? Like when I look at that map, and I know some of them might not be significant.
Mm.
But I'd say like 5, 6, 7, 8, and 13, or 5, 6, 7, 8, because you're gonna spend 10, 15 minutes at each. And that's an hour and a half,
Mhm.
I think they gave us a recommended time, right?
Yeah,
For the
but
one day.
At most 2 hours.
Yeah, well, and most of. I would guess a number of the people, a high percentage of people that show up will be elderly,
That's,
guessing.
yes, that's,
So. And then you can almost say, hey, next year, we're gonna do
Mhm.
the Frostwoods.
Mhm.
And it gives something for people to come back to, rather than trying to hit 3.5
Yeah, I mean,
months.
I agree.
we could try starting at the Alice house and just going to what is 13? The Schrader house.
13 significant, right?
Yeah, so we could just try that and see how long that one goes.
I mean, I like the idea of a trolley, but. I mean, and then the other question I had was you mentioned getting sponsors, company sponsors. What are they sponsoring if we don't have a trolley? What are they
Like the-
sponsoring?
like
Like
the
the papers?
brochures.
That's what I was thinking.
$25?
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
brochures for sure.
Can we make money on it? Are we allowed?
yeah, we're allowed to. Well.
That's fine, that's a
Where
great
do our
question.
sales go? We make book sales?
Yeah, that's true. I
Uh,
don't know if that just covers
To the
the cost of
landmarks.
And
printing.
also if we
I think
charge
it's a good idea to get sponsors.
tickets, if we do tickets, it goes for the Madison Trust, but like that money will come back to landmarks somehow.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I mean, can we have a piggy bank for more grant, or, you know, applying for more things
Yeah.
and things like
I,
that?
I would wanna check
Okay,
with the city
So maybe
administrator about that, yeah.
maybe we check with that, because we should probably find out if. Like ticket sales and if we would have sponsors,
but the pamphlet she showed us had sponsors,
Yep.
remember?
a lot.
I think they were more restaurant-y kind of things that, weren't they, that were giving
Well, there's a couple,
food or something?
I think there was one construction company, there was Chad's Design Build was on there,
Okay,
but yeah, probably.
Sounds like a good conversation for Med Spa.
So sponsors would likely pay for an ad and a brochure, but there would still be a fee to join the tour.
and if you did the trolley, that's gonna cost some money, so
Yeah,
sponsors would
right.
make a lot of sense, right?
And I know we have like a small budget, but I don't know how much it probably, and also how many tours would you run, you know? Would it just be one for 2 hours, or that's only 15 people, right? So how many people do you want? So those are.
It's also tied to how many docents we get, right?
Yep,
What was the timeline again? You said was, you had some milestone dates.
well, she's already started outlining.
Okay.
Writing would take place at the end of September through December. For a couple of months. And then we would create a subcommittee in January to have it wrapped up, like getting wrapped up in March to start promoting it. And then training the manual to be ready in March is also so you can have time to train the docents on the tour itself.
I imagine that the subcommittee could have members that are not part of this landmarks commission. It should, I mean, why not?
There's only 3 of them.
There's gonna be people, not one to six. There's gonna be people that are interested in this, that are not, it's bigger than this. That's a wonderful way to get people, bring people in and get people, and who knows, maybe we can fill 2 seats in the commission. But, yeah, I mean, other committees do it, or other commissions. Often have like just short-term projects where we bring in people from the outside. Yeah,
Can I ask you a question? Is it 6 plus you, or is it, you're one of the 6?
Six plus older person.
Yeah, okay. So we're,
Or
we're 2 down.
Yeah, Anne's absent. Anne is
oh, she's
excused tonight.
absent, that's right, I'm
And
sorry.
then there's 2 vacancies.
Yeah, no,
So do we want to think about doing just that shorter section from Alice to
I wonder, maybe,
Trainer?
yeah, I just, yeah.
I can see how long that takes.
The other one I would throw out there, just because it's our first, is to start near the beach.
The Schluter.
Yeah, because there's parking there
Yeah,
and it's a good, you know, we could do something with the shop or whatever they call it.
yeah, that, and we had talked about that,
Ice
and
cream shop.
that's why we walked
Yeah,
back.
but I don't know if you can, if there's enough along there. And then, you know,
Just
maybe,
this cluster here.
but where would, we gotta think
Well,
about
no,
where people would
it's-
park and how they would get there. Don't we, or do they just park on the street? Is that okay?
Yeah, there's street
Street.
parking, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, wouldn't, it would be, yeah.
Yes, there's-
So we would skip all these then, it's just.
So convenient.
It's convenient and it's just a really adorable Monona.
Well, and we thought about ending the tour at the bait shop.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's a great idea. So we'd start at
Like no
Breeze
refund.
and then end at the bait shop.
Yeah.
Make
kind
sure
of
they're
move it
open.
back.
I like that. Start at Ernie's, then come back and end at the bait shop.
So if we try to do it that way, we need more.
More content. I think. And what-
More content, if we just reduce it to more content about each, if we only have 4 or
I
5.
mean, if it's 10 minutes each, that's 8 spots. That's
5 is
80
a good
minutes.
number.
Yeah, I think,
I think.
And I think the
So
Schrader
20
House might be
is-
open to
So we're-
opening up, which would be nice.
I'm sorry, I thought we were just including 5, 6, 7, 8, and 13, but we're
it
doing
was
more.
3, 4, and 20.
And 3 and 4 as
They're
well,
just very
okay,
proposed.
That's a lot of property.
yeah,
20 is a
That's all
lot
the
of
storage.
sites, that's the
Yeah.
former Tony Watts.
Didn't take long to get through those.
Yeah, but
It
did you
take that
stop
long.
and talk for 15 minutes?
Yeah, cause
You
we,
did,
well,
okay.
maybe not 15 minutes, but we
Mhm.
stopped and talked and like,
Mhm.
you know, looked at each thing and talked about it.
We also have to factor in questions.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Walking up that hill, if most of the folks are seniors, it's not an insignificant hill for some folks probably.
And going down.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll throw that out there. I'll email her back tonight.
I wonder, do you have an idea of how much, is it like what, like a mile, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13, back to 3,
It's-
essentially?
It was only, about 1.5 miles to Bungalowen,
Mhm.
so that's not even. Cause once you hit 9, I think it was like 1.25 miles to 9, so
Mhm.
we started at 3. It's just kind of from 13 to 9, there's nothing.
I know.
Yeah.
I'd say leave 9 out. I don't know.
There's a nice pit stop at Fireman's Park that will have a
Mhm.
path, but
Yeah,
9 isn't significant. Right?
I mean, it's an old farmhouse. It's still,
I think it,
scroll down a bit.
which one's on
There's
B?
Middle
Or is
School.
it 50?
9
Oh,
is
that's 5.
shorter.
I think
It's
that's
basically a 3/4 of a mile
Oh,
each
I'm
way,
thinking of 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
a mile and a half round trip.
Oh, that would be
Ish.
good. Okay.
That's doable.
Okay, I'll throw that out there.
So from 3 to 13.
One minute.
Be a little excursion to the pagoda for anyone who wants as well, too.
No. Hard to get down.
So
Could
what,
be slippery.
what do they need from us? What is,
I don't think anything yet. You can probably reach out to you, Thor, just for more information from the ones we've documented.
Yeah, okay,
It's really good.
yeah,
So there's no action to this? Is that right?
no. Just an update,
Well done.
great,
well, we
Yeah.
still, kind of have like some outstanding questions, like, you know, what would sponsors do? Can we make money from it? You know,
Yeah,
things
yeah,
like
I
that,
know.
would there be a fee? Yeah,
so I'll work on that
okay.
for our next meeting.
I'm really excited about this. It's gonna be fun, but now, was there also something I understood about how perhaps this would be marketed as a Madison
No.
event, or, okay? It's some other thing, even though the
It's
Madison
sponsored.
Trust is helping us out,
Yeah.
where it's ours.
Yeah, I mean, we would put their name on
Yeah,
sponsoring and stuff.
right.
Yeah, they have a Maple Bluff tour as well,
Yeah,
they venture outside of Madison city limits,
yes. Well, it's, they say Dane County, pretty so.
okay. Great,
All right, we're ready to move on then. So to number 5C, discussion and possible action on Spring Haven Pagoda Restoration Preservation Project. Laura's
Right.
also been doing a lot of work on this.
yeah, so I've been working to get some price estimates for preparing a detailed treatment proposal that we could then release as an RFP to find someone who can do the actual rehabilitation work. So I've had really good conversations with 2 architecture firms, Preserve LLC. And she was very excited about this project, and Legacy Architecture. And so I did get estimates from each of those. From Preserve, they estimated 12,500, and from Legacy, 13,000. And let me pull up, I just got the one from Legacy late this afternoon, so I wasn't able to include it in the packet. But I
And
have
these
it.
are the prices just to submit a proposal for the work that would be
To
done
come up
later.
with the treatment.
To come up with a plan. This is not
Not the.
what it's
cost of
gonna
treatment.
cost to actually treat it, right?
Right, so we would want to ensure that, you know, if we did pursue this, that afterwards we still had budget, you know, realistic budget to actually do the work. So this is the kind of the detailed breakdown for Legacy.
And then how did they come up with their proposal? Did they come out and look at it or just send pictures or something?
Yeah, just said they went through the preservation plan, the park reconstruction plan, that Egan put together for the roof. And shared the laser scan with them. So they hadn't come out to the site yet.
And the other proposal,
The other one,
Yeah.
you want to, yeah, that one's not as detailed. Here, let me,
Is this preserve or legacy?
No,
this is
Oh,
legacy.
Okay.
okay, so it would include doing a laser scan, bracing, protecting the columns and beams. This is the work that they would propose, not.
This would be the
that they would do.
recommend.
Yeah, the recommendation.
This is based on earlier recommendations, though. This is based on the
Oh,
plan.
right,
this is for somebody else to do,
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
okay.
Okay, so here's their proposed scope of work to prepare a treatment plan. So site visit. Draft floor plan, roof plan, elevations, sections. Meet with the project team. Rehabilitation design options. For reconstruction of the concrete roof, we'd have to confirm what that means. Architectural diagrams. Prepare a report. And then. Submit all that out for bid.
What are the excluded?
Excluded,
Oh,
Just
It's
follow
kind of-
the- everything
yeah.
following, okay.
so. And they gave us the breakdown of their fees as well, and overall estimate $15,000. So there's that. And then the preserve, I was in touch with about 2 weeks ago. And then their firm had kind of some personal situations going on, so they weren't able to get back to me with more details, but this is what I heard from them. 12,500 as a budget, which would include materials testing, structural and construction administration time to review mock-up samples and work in the field. And when I responded and asked for further clarification about what structural and construction administration time meant, that's when I received a response that they are kind of not available right now, but again, working through some personal situations. But, you know, numbers are fairly aligned, we're very close. I've got 4 other emails out there. in cyberspace waiting for a response with other firms. Again, our overall budget for the pagoda is 65,000 in the capital budget. And so this would leave us, you know, if it was 13,000 to draft this, it would leave us with just over 50,000 for the actual rehabilitation work.
Or do those numbers include reimbursable expenses?
Let's,
Because one's from Sheboygan and one's from Milwaukee. That's, if they make 6 trips here.
yeah, let me pull up the legacy architecture one.
And then.
Yes, here
Cost plus 10%.
are in addition to these fees.
Yeah. Okay. So we should.
So an extra.
Plan a little extra.
1,000 there, yep.
And then, so they're basically designing how it should be fixed,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Are they, what if it God forbid, doesn't work? Or, I mean, are they liable? Are do they, you know what I mean?
Oh, if a conservator followed their,
Will there'd be
Plans.
a contract with them? From the city, I would guess.
yeah, there would be a contract, yes.
Cause if something were to go wrong, $13,000 doesn't seem like a lot of money.
You have this clause here at the end. Sorry,
Oh, that's good. Okay, so they do have some liability language in there, shall not exceed 50 grand. Okay. It's good.
They sent over a proposal.
Yeah,
where
yes.
Reserve just is some compensation.
exactly.
Might be nice to get a proposal to compare it to.
I agree. I don't think we're ready at this point tonight to make a motion to select one.
Yeah.
But this is a really good comparison point.
Yeah, I think so
Uh,
too. These are really both really good firms.
mhm.
Will they tell us how long their proposal is good for? Like 6 months or something?
Yeah,
I wanna check that.
And
Yeah,
do we
I'll
need to
verify
know about
with them.
It's great that you got
availability
those.
Decision.
yeah, they
Yeah.
both seemed pretty excited about this project and very interested.
These will follow up with both of them to see what their availability would
Mhm.
be to start this work. They have a year-long wait list or something.
Mm.
That's the decision.
Yes. Yep, and I'll keep working to solicit more estimates, and I'll also work with them just to see if they think, you know, what would be left in our budget is feasible for the actual rehabilitation work.
And is that the like their max price, or is that their, cause like I saw the breakdown of, you know, their different individuals,
Mhm.
or is that like fixed price?
Right. Check if it's fixed. Okay,
So is the price fixed? Does it include things like travel expenses? What if it doesn't
it does
work?
not include,
It does not,
No.
okay. What if it doesn't work? What's their liability? How long is the estimate good for? In other words, how fast do we have to accept it or not? And then when would they be able to start?
and because this is a professional services contract, it doesn't have to go out for bid
Mm.
at all, even if it's above $25,000.
Hmm.
We don't, there's no public bidding requirement.
And say these are the only two, or say there's another one, do we want examples of work or like
Yeah, I think before we committed to a
kind of a
contract with them.
similar kind of process?
Yeah. And also, do we want to maybe you know, kind of find someone who is expressing interest in the rehabilitation work before we commit this money to
Right,
something that.
oh, I see what you mean.
Oh,
Get it all drawn up, but
I see what you're saying. So we pay for the
Right.
plan, but then nobody wants to execute
Is
the
the
plan.
name in there?
Could they-
Yeah,
Right,
could they
Right.
possibly recommend some?
I think so.
yeah,
potential
that's a
Yeah.
really good point, yeah.
Before we started?
Yeah,
With 13,000 less.
Legacy pointed to the project they did, I think in Whitefish Bay with a kind of a lighthouse
Funny,
structure.
that's where reserve lives.
Oh, gosh.
I know the one you're talking about is the Mary Noel House, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, that's what it is.
Have anybody ever been there? Quite a sight to see,
I know what you're talking about. Crazy,
concrete garden
yeah, crazy.
of sculptures. Yes,
Hmm.
it is very interesting.
Any more
Okay.
thoughts on this? Thor, did you say that you were waiting for more? You heard back from two, but.
Yeah, so the first architect I spoke to out of Minnesota,
Mhm.
New History, they recommended a couple firms. Some of those were too busy and, you know, they're all kind of referencing more, it's just branching out, so there's lots of emails floating out there.
Do we have a goal of when to make a decision about this? Like, is it at the next meeting, we're going to have all this information or? I know you all have been dealing with it for years.
Oh, yeah.
I'd
I
like to
would
not be on the same
love
train.
that to be, I would love that. There was a time when I had my hopes up and I thought,
10 years ago?
It was like,
gosh.
like, I'm gonna be the alder to put a fork in this thing, and nope.
Can we make a decision next meeting? That's what I'm asking.
So for a timeline, we need to spend the money by 2025,
All of
the
it,
capital
the
budget.
65.
By the end of this year,
by the end of next year.
next year.
Yep.
Not before.
But the fire's hot. I'm saying,
Yeah.
seriously,
Yeah, so I,
people will have some interest.
yes, I think it means we probably need to get the RFP out early 2025. Have a conservator lined up in the spring who can do the work in the summer.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's,
We're gonna get
it
this
is
done.
fairly pressing, yeah.
We're gonna get this done.
We
This is-
are, then we're gonna have a big party at that pagoda.
Right. We'll have a big unveiling, that's for sure.
Just
Literally, we can unveil it.
so happy to become the first.
Yeah, I'll email this to you so you can take a closer look. I apologize, it came in today, so
No,
I wasn't able to review it
Fine, yeah,
too closely
yeah.
myself.
Alright. Any, is that the final? No, one?
No, could I make a comment on the first issue?
You bet.
Because I did look up Memorial Day next year and it is 5/26.
Yes,
I don't know if we
Yeah.
said that definitively.
yeah,
Okay,
The-
I don't know if that
For the tour.
We don't-
influences the tour weekend.
it's kind of an
I
up
don't
and
know.
down, right? Like,
Okay,
are people gone or are people home?
Right.
Because we do have a parade. That is very well attended.
It is.
actually, that is a really, that's a conversation that has been coming up now that conversations have sparked again about the Fourth of July festival.
Oh, is the parade?
You know, the conversations have been like,
Well, that's,
there's a Memorial Day parade, why don't we do more on Memorial Day, you know?
well, this could be part.
This could be-
Before
yeah.
Memorial. There you go.
Very interesting. Alright, wonderful. I'm gonna move on then, on the agenda number 5D, discussion and possible action on 2025 certified local government sub-grant application.
All right, so I sent out letters to all the individually eligible properties outside of Frostwoods. I didn't hear anything back. We kind of expected that. We had talked about phone calls at the last meeting as well, but Doug and I weren't really comfortable cold calling folks if they haven't given us their phone number for, you know, this specific purpose. So our preference is just to, you know, as we try to facilitate this, just lean on connections, personal connections that anyone might have. Lean for the commercial sites, lean on MESBA in the school district for the school sites, but
I think we should leave the school sites off this year. Personally.
I think the school is.
I think they have enough to deal with.
Yes.
Let's move on to the next year.
Yeah. Yeah, so with that, the letter of intent would be due September 13th. And we don't have any, you know, confirmed interest in nominations. So my recommendation would be that we don't pursue a CLG grant this year and just, you know, try and leverage our connections for a 2025 application. But ultimately, I would leave it up to the commission.
That's kind of what we did previously, isn't it? We took a year off.
Yeah, we took 3 years off,
Oh.
yeah.
1 year's not that bad.
So. Like, it's interesting how society, to your comment before about, you know, you send out letters to all the properties, but you haven't heard back from anyone, and I fully predicted that was gonna be the case, so I've always advocated for just have a conversation with people. And it's interesting how we have become a society where you don't call anybody anymore. It's like, what an intrusion of your property, of your privacy.
Right, the yellow pages.
I grew up
Can't just.
where people would just pull in the driveway they didn't check what you were doing before they came to visit you. They just did. And then you just stopped and you politely like were a good neighbor when they came to visit you. There's a happy medium. I mean, it's like, I don't think we should pursue it this year. I'm happy to go next year, but I mean, I don't see why it would be a problem moving forward to telephone people. I just don't. You know, phone books, you can look people's number up, you can look it up on the internet, it's out there, it's not private information. I don't know.
But businesses aren't private information and.
That's true.
But people's cell phones might be that, but
Yeah,
otherwise.
a cell phone is, yeah, I know, people have cell phones, it's different than a house phone, yeah,
I don't know, how many houses did you have?
yeah.
A list of houses that you sent them to?
Yes, I think it was 4. Let's see.
There's just something there's a personal
No,
connection
just
that's
2,
needed.
just 2
houses?
houses, yeah.
You can't get that with a letter.
4659 Tonyawatha and 5701 Cove Circle.
Now, relying on connections is fine too, and I think it would be perfectly reasonable to just divvy up those names among our committee, like who knows who, let's go talk to them.
Did your letter say we need to know by such and such date?
Yeah,
Yeah, so that, I wonder if we try to reach out in a different manner that's not a deadline like that. We might have hey, do you wanna have an information session
yeah,
again?
you can just have an informational session like we did in 2020.
Well, that was just for Crosswoods, wasn't it?
Well,
We did
there
one
was
prior.
one, yeah,
to
before the
Crosswoods.
last.
Yeah, that one, like that
Right,
one.
yeah. With the-
But having, now that we have a couple, and then if we get the district,
Yeah, there's 2 district properties.
so
And there's new
maybe,
leadership
maybe
in the
another
districts now.
informational session, have some success stories come to the table.
Mhm. Yeah,
That'd be worth it for next year.
yeah, have someone like Matt Aro.
And
Discuss
also,
how it benefited
if
them.
we have a tour, that might be helpful as well. Maybe have a little informational session after the tour.
That's a great idea. So if the tour were somewhere around Memorial Day. And then the letter of intent wouldn't be until September of next year, that's great.
4659 is on the tour route. Essentially.
Which one is that? Cause I might have wrote that down.
It's the Fix House, the Charles Fix House.
That one's not,
It's just.
oh, that's on the
Yeah,
register. Yes, okay, so that.
yeah.
But they're the ones that.
I didn't hear, oh, they live in Australia, though, don't they?
Yes, so I
So
reached out, we've been in touch with
yeah.
their architect and they emailed him. Response, yeah.
Alright,
The other one I think that we're close to is the stone Tudor house behind the Veritas
Evergreen.
Salon, the Evergreen house, yeah.
I don't know what
They have a new
information
owner.
is out there on that one. I have tried to research that one.
Just like
Small yoga.
put a business in it,
Yeah, it's
Yes.
a place now. They have
Yes,
multiple-
it's Mala Yoga now.
Right.
Yes,
what is significant about that house?
I think it's just the style.
Yeah, just the
in
architectural
Monona, like,
style.
it's just so random in Monona, I guess. I
Okay.
don't know.
On the architectural survey
Depends.
identified it as
Really?
potentially
Yeah.
eligible, yeah.
In the parking lot behind.
It isn't, I wish I knew more about it because it's an interesting location.
Yeah, they have childcare.
The location's interesting.
Yeah.
But you can, like, there's no driveway to it or
No,
anything.
no, it's kind of,
Yeah, they share parking with the commercial building.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'd like to know the history of it.
or does the package, did I miss it? Does the package list all the properties that you sent the letters to? Or can we get a list
It
packet?
I
does it.
don't think
I-
so. Can you send that?
That would be
So, and maybe we
interesting,
can
yeah, cause
kind of-
as just, we have to keep it in our head
Yeah,
and we
yeah,
can just, you run into someone, you're like, oh, hey. Just
Every time I run
curious.
by Ernie's.
Like, I'm on the- yeah.
Monona Motors, I'm like, oh, I see some guys out, maybe I should stop.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no, I'm sweating. Never mind.
At the actual business, you mean there?
It's Monona Motors, yeah.
What do you need from them?
No, I was just thinking to stop in there and say, hey, you wanna get registered? And I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
just to say,
absolutely
like,
not doing that.
just to say like, hey, I'm on the Landmarks Commission, just wanted to introduce myself. Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
that's.
you take your car there, maybe, you know,
I tried to.
try, yeah, you know, and I just know that we're looking for,
Also,
talk about this sub-grant.
So like tax credits.
Right, just talk about the sub-grant and say
As
like,
long as they can still put their whatever on the roof during the holidays.
Oh, yeah.
the reindeer,
That's what it is, right?
that's awesome, yeah. It's some creature with a red nose, yeah, so,
All right.
yeah,
Yeah, so there, the report identified 7 residential properties, 4 of those are in Crosswoods.
Right.
2 I mailed and 1 had been demolished, rebuilt, 5011 Tonyawatha.
and how many total did you send it to? 7 were in Crossroads.
Yeah, so it went to 7. Went to the 2 residential properties. And Schwenn's, Felly's, Flowers, the Tower of Memories. And the Immaculate Heart of Mary congregation and Molly
Does
Yoga
anybody remember?
Evergreens.
I'm just, yeah, they probably just, yeah,
And
they're just busy.
school district.
So aside from that, you do not have to have the owner's approval to register to nominate a property. And if these people aren't reaching back out to us,
Mhm.
that could be a way to get them to reach out to us.
Yeah,
Would you
It'll-
be interested? 'Cause they're gonna do it.
I think it'll make our application look stronger,
domain.
yeah.
I think it's a good courtesy, it's a good.
Yeah,
public
for
relations
sure,
move.
for sure.
You know, we
Yeah.
just want to build relationships with
We don't
people.
lose any
That's the most
rights
important
with a
thing.
National Register nomination.
Yeah, but. Yeah, it gives them something to talk about, it gives them something to be proud about, yeah, I think,
Yeah, I think the Historical Society strongly prefers to have.
Yes, they
buy-in,
do, yes, they do, because that's what they did for Crossroads.
Yeah.
Um, But it could be like, Landmarks is going to nominate you, which.
No, yeah, let's just,
I
right,
know, I don't
Yeah.
wanna do that, I'm just saying. Nobody is wanting to come to
Yeah.
us.
so,
Well, so. Yeah, we can, next year, we have a year to work on
mhm,
getting buy-in, while we're also working on Frostwoods.
I do think we should keep this on the agenda though, because there have been other things that we table until next year, and then, oh my gosh, it's next year. And we
Yeah.
haven't done anything, right, so let's just keep this fresh.
Like an update.
Yeah, and then, so what I'm hearing is, Thor's gonna send out the list of all that received, the letter that he sent. And we're gonna remember to include mention of this sub-grant during the tour, which would be, that's a great way to cross-promote these initiatives.
Is there a list of, you're gonna send out the list of places you sent?
Correct.
Is there a list of places that you could send to?
Oh,
Yeah,
Well, the survey,
yeah,
the survey
the
alone.
2019
Yeah.
architectural survey.
So why do you limit yourself to 4? Time?
These were the
Or
landmarks.
No, I sent it to all of them.
all
I
of what?
sent all of the properties that were identified in the architectural survey done in 2019 as potentially eligible for the National Register, except for the ones that are in Frostwoods, because they're part of, they don't need to be individually nominated because they'll be part of the historic district.
And you're certain about that? You
Yeah.
sent them to all?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I'll send a list.
All right,
I'll
thank
send
you.
a list,
2 lists.
2 lists.
All right.
I'll-
the ones you did send and the ones you
Yeah.
could.
Awesome.
The actual and the possible. Mhm. All right, and do we need a motion on tabling this until next year? Or do we just
Well, I don't know
table
if we
it?
wanna table,
Yeah.
table it.
We'll continue discussions, but we won't apply, this year, all right. All right, moving on, number 5, or excuse me, not number 5, but letter E. Discussion and possible action on landmark marker inventory and cleaning. John, had something going on there? No?
Yes,
Did you have any luck?
let me pull up your pictures, John.
Johnny, please.
So we got
We
the
got the before and
before,
after, all right.
All right.
All right, so we'll start with the Wagner House here. Is this the before?
Suspense.
I know.
Okay.
Uh-oh, is that the after?
Hold on. What?
It's a little bit better.
A little bit better on the edge.
Definitely better.
Well, it's clean. I mean, that's basically what I did.
It's got that, those weird white spots.
Yeah, those won't come off.
There. But the letters. Look good.
I don't think they improved much. I think they needed a clean. I don't think they're difficult to read.
Yeah, the letters look like they stand out a little more.
I don't know.
Ish. Maybe the
I
photo is
think
closer.
the biggest challenge that I think occurs is the location of them. If you keep going, I mean, this one's probably the best one in terms of location, other than the bridge.
Sure.
But that one, like, look at the bottom,
In the dirt.
it's
Yeah,
in the dirt, so I don't know what happens when it snows. I mean, I took some of the grass away, there's an anthill underneath it.
Move this one
Ants.
though,
It did
and it's
too.
not moved.
It's not.
It's not
it
moved.
hasn't
I
moved
think
yet.
we
I
asked
was
that it be.
told, I thought it
All right,
was.
let me-
Well, even if it gets moved, you
I
can see that the
swear
plaque
I
is
saw
gonna be
it.
in the
next to the
dirt.
I wonder
house.
if they
I
moved
swear I
it.
did.
I don't know.
This
but-
took me.
Anne
a
said
half
she
hour.
saw it by the house too, so they
This
must,
took me a
I did
half hour to
too.
find, because someone said it was near the house.
yeah,
And I couldn't find
and
it.
it's back by the
No,
street.
it's back at the street.
Cause I
now.
noticed it by the street recently too, I noticed it.
Basically, no,
Ride
see,
ride my
Yeah,
bike
it was at the
past
street
it,
when during the
and I'm
bike
like,
burst.
what? I thought that was by the house.
but that's easy to read.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
that one.
They were in much better shape than I thought. But like, that's literally at ground, you gotta get on your knees to read.
So Anne's not here to give a hard time, but let me
It's too
just show
bad.
you a picture
I
of
really like giving
hers.
her hard.
Keep going, let's get through this.
Yeah,
Maybe you already got.
There's the
hers.
pagoda. You know, it got a little
Yeah, that's
cleaned
better.
up
yeah.
better.
Did you see
It's the
soap and water, what do you use to
Yeah,
clean?
Yeah, it's.
and the little darkness is still a little wet.
These are bronze, is that what?
I
I
think
think
so.
we're all different.
That's really much better, really, it's much more.
Guys, this is Anne's. Can
Oh,
you
gosh.
see it?
Yeah, yeah. That's better than. Yeah, the pagoda one cleaned up well.
Yeah,
Did you use like a brush or like a
Um,
bristle? Like
I
this-
had a brush, but I don't think it did much.
Oh,
Oh, that
Yeah,
one looks a lot better.
Mhm.
The photo.
This one has
clearer.
an issue with what whoever's bright idea was to put the picture of the
yeah,
house on
I
it.
know.
Because it's like a different piece of metal,
Oh,
and at the bottom, it's like someone tried to lift it off,
Mm.
so it's not perfectly flat, you know?
yeah.
But again, this one's on the ground.
It's nice to have a picture of the lost site,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It makes sense in this case, I think,
The
because
picture,
Maybe
Yeah.
a separate
Yeah, this is
marker
for
would
the
be nice,
old-
but.
it's at the Dean House
that's what
temporarily.
you're saying, but then there's another freestanding tall. Right?
Well, this particular one is supposed to be where the Bloom project is.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, it's usually across the street.
well, the two metals don't work together is my point.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, it's a nice idea, but
Can just be like glued down with something.
I don't know if they could have done it in the same metal. This one's probably the toughest because it's set into the
Brand new concrete.
concrete, and I think there's rebar that might be rusting, and
Something is.
you know, there- you
terrible.
can see the color.
Mhm.
I don't know how you fix that other than paint it, but then you're gonna be painting it every year. The concrete, I mean,
Yeah. Something to stop the rust on those.
Yeah,
but they're nice plaques, but they seem inappropriately placed.
Mhm.
You know, like you have to be on your knees to read it.
I don't know why they didn't ask us where to place this one when they redid the bridge.
Anyways, those were the five.
Nice.
do we need to start an inventory of where they're all placed and look at which ones need to be moved or
Well, if it's on a boulder,
re-landscaped?
how you
Yeah, they're
sit
all
on
on
another
boulders.
boulder?
Another boulder under the
I
boulder.
don't-
They're all gonna eventually sink, right? So
Mhm.
maybe we
But
just
like
need
when
to
there's
replace
snow-
them every 5 years.
When there's snow, I think 3 out of the 5 are covered,
Hidden.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Unless they're,
Are there
somebody actually
are
takes the time to,
lights, like you get like solar lights that kind of shine a spotlight,
Yeah.
you know, that could be a nice. Additional,
If it's on a property.
yeah,
Well, thank you, John, for doing that. I think they do look better.
5 markers, I
Thank
like
you.
that.
I think they look better.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's noticeably better.
That one is, yes.
And so is Pagoda. Certainly.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah, that one is way better.
It really
And
is.
Nancy's with Photoshop Pro.
But you didn't use a brush, you just used a cloth?
I just use like a, yeah, like a
You
washcloth.
get your toothbrush out?
I took a brush,
Cause I was
but I
thinking
didn't
of
wanna get too,
aggressive.
Yeah.
Right.
I want letters falling off. But they were in much better shape than I thought they would be generally.
Yeah. I don't think it merits the cost that we at one time considered.
Yeah. We
We're
able to
gonna,
finally take this off the agenda.
I think that we do it. Right.
Okay, we do have to be out of here in 15 minutes for CDA
Center.
or sooner.
let's go. Stop the notification.
All right, so let's jump then to new business. Consideration of recommendations to city council on the selection of a national registered consultant. The Frostwoods Historic District Project. Rebecca Thor and I met with 2 consultants, and we already talked about this last time. This is up for a vote tonight.
Yeah, so that was on July 24th. We had
Mhm.
interviews with UW Milwaukee Cultural Resources Management and with Mead and Hunt. For cost, their bids were very comparable. UW Milwaukee was 21,720. Mead and Hunt was 21,950, so then 1%, which are pretty negligible. But we felt that UW Milwaukee came better prepared. They had way more enthusiasm about the project.
That's the word for it. Yeah.
They have just as much experience in the Frostwoods neighborhood as Mead and Hunt did. Even though Mead and Hunt did the architectural survey, they identified the historic district in 2019, but UW Milwaukee has done some individual nominations in the Frostwoods neighborhood. So they were very prepared with the resources they would need to use to prepare the nomination. And Justin Miller, who would be the project manager, is very, very excited about this project. So we were unanimous that we preferred UW Milwaukee. But before it can go to council for approval, the commission does need to make that recommendation as a whole.
So do I have a motion to accept UW Milwaukee as the consultant for the national, well, how do I say this? Consultant for the Frostwoods Historic District Project. Is there a motion to accept UW Milwaukee?
Can I make that motion? I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Well, second.
Second, any discussion further needed? All in favor? Opposed? Easy. All right, this will go to council. Fantastic. Next. Getting out of here. Number 6, discussion and possible action on the nomination, for the Dane County Underrepresented Communities Historical Markers Program.
So this was an opportunity that we were made aware of a few weeks ago about a new program that the county is leading. Their new Heritage Preservation Commission is looking for recommendations from public and from communities for some new historical markers to tell the history of underrepresented communities in Dane County. So there's no real guidelines right now on what those historical markers are going to look like and what the selection criteria will be. They're simply just looking for recommendations. So if there are, markers that we want to have replaced, we could consider making that recommendation for those, or new sites that we want to tell the story of. This would be a good chance for the commission to make that recommendation, and we should do, more than one. We can package these all together. we can discuss, if you have ideas today, we can discuss those, or this can be, more in-depth agenda item another time. I will say, the city administrator intends to join our next meeting to discuss the future of the Royal Airport and Charles Lindbergh marker. In lieu of Charles Lindbergh's racist past and anti-Semitic comments that he's made. To discuss what we're gonna do with that marker to acknowledge his history, while also acknowledging the historical significance of the former airport site. So that will be an agenda item next month, and I think these two could they can be tied together.
Is there a timing on this? Is this gonna be an annual thing? Is it a one-time thing?
I think it's a one-time thing that they're seeking recommendations.
Is
And
it by the end of the year? Do you have any?
they're. Yeah,
There's not a
it's not
due
clear,
date.
yeah, and they just have a Google form right now that anyone can fill out, even if you have ideas on your own. Over the next few weeks, you're welcome to fill out the form and make that recommendation.
I have a recommendation, Outlet Mountain.
I was just gonna say, you mentioned
All
it
the
when you and
mountains.
Erica
Well,
were.
Tompkins
all-
Brindler, Tompkins Brindler has an informational sign, but I don't know what shape it's in.
That's the one in Woodland Park.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
in really good shape, it's one
So
of the
that
newer
one has one,
ones.
and then, what's our other mountain?
Monona
That's
Mountain,
private property.
But still.
but that has a brand new,
There.
that one has a
Haven't we
brand.
asked
We have a brand new Dane County sign there.
Oh,
okay.
I don't know if that owner would want more signs.
all the mountains should be marked.
Yeah,
though,
that one is,
sure.
that, we've worked on that,
Okay.
one recently.
At our last meeting, Ann mentioned she had access to some maps
That had
that
additional
had,
ones.
were more comprehensive in.
Well,
Well,
everyone
about
has access to those maps.
Yes, right, but she was familiar with them, I should say.
I
It
can
was
send you
good.
them,
Okay, that'd be great.
but they're all private properties.
That's okay.
Panther Mound would be great too, but that's in Frostwoods district.
Mhm.
We
So,
probably-
yeah, I-
Probably have to approach
Okay,
the
okay.
home.
I think
Should
at
we
this
do that
point,
as the whole committee? I would love to see that. The,
Well, it's a book.
oh, okay.
I can send you a link to the book because it's in the Library of Congress.
Yeah.
okay,
Send it out to all of us.
I mean, I think
Yeah,
it's
thank
like
you.
if we can contact the homeowners or the landowners, then highlighting as many as possible, I think would be really important.
Yeah, we have
Yes.
tried in the past for Panther Mound a few times, but the ownership changed over
Mhm.
a couple of times. We almost had it.
Yeah.
But
And,
there's no need for it to be, sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah.
there's no need for it to be public property, it can be any property.
wouldn't you need the homeowners or the property owners consent for the sign?
I think, yeah, the county would eventually, but for us to
Nominate,
nominate it to the county for them to further explore,
Oh, okay.
it can be any.
they can do all the work.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll send-
Are there any non-mound locations that should be recognized if they haven't?
Well, in
Uh,
researching Frostwoods, Grand Crossing, I didn't realize Grand Crossing was actually a term that is important
it
to
is,
Minnesota.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, why did they name it that?
yeah,
But Grand Crossing is what the native Winnebago called that area,
yeah.
and I wonder if we could put one at the park about that.
I think that's a
That'd be
really great recommendation. You mentioned Springhaven Park, Ashley?
Yeah, I worked with a couple of folks who said.
Stonebridge?
Stonebridge Park.
Stonebridge, yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
And said that was a critical site for Indigenous folks, but that might have just been like traditional conversations that was information passed down. I don't know if there's anything written about it anywhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
we did a survey, archaeological survey, didn't we, when we did the park?
oh, I don't know, I'd have to,
They had to look for
Class.
archaeological
okay,
in the park before they dug it up.
So
Some-
Dover, would you fill these out based on if we came up with 2 or 3?
Yeah, probably, I mean. Or we maybe review it together as a commission.
Yeah, yeah.
Put something together, yeah,
But I mean, it comes from somebody.
yeah, yep,
I would assume that the city of Monona would have a little more weight than if I filled it out, for instance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. They
I think it'd be
looking for
important for
community organizations.
Monona to have 2 or 3 or.
Mhm.
Yeah,
How long
Ooh,
has,
I
how
see
long
all
has
these.
Monona been in Monona? How long have you lived here?
working on the DEIB committee, it was brought to my attention that some time ago, there was a plan that was started and pretty well fleshed out about, putting Ho Chunk signage up around the city, some at San Damiano and in other parts of the community. And it just sort of hit a road, it hit a block. Price, is the expense of it all. And I wonder if perhaps here's an opportunity to circle back on that. That could be wonderful. Yeah,
It's great.
I will look into that.
Bye.
Yeah, the other recommendation
Did I say
we
circle back?
received
Is that like-
was related to Harry Whitehorse.
Yeah,
Some-
well,
some-
yeah,
exactly,
I mean,
right, yeah.
Okay,
we have 4 minutes. Come on.
We
yeah,
have
yeah.
4 minutes,
sorry.
all right,
Well,
sorry,
so we'll keep
staff
this on the
updates.
agenda and
Yeah.
if you think of anything else, send it my way. Start pulling together documentation.
The rest of the agenda is pretty standard boilerplate stuff, but in staff updates.
No updates to staff on the Frank Dallas House or documentation.
No updates to diversity, equity, inclusion, any events happening around us that we may want to know about? Alright, updates, discussion, sustainability. Thor and I will be meeting with sustainability director of Sun Prairie to learn a little bit more about their energy plan and see what we might do here in Monona coming up. Yet this week, Landmarks Commission request for city staff. Anybody?
We'll go through them within.
There we go. All right. Next meeting, September 17th, 2024 and October 15th. Is there a motion for
I
adjournment?
move to adjourn.
I second.
Second, all in favor? Hi.
Yeah,
Thank you. You did it.
All right. We're good.
Good job. Another committee